There are so many situations in life that come rather unexpectedly, especially when our survival instinct has to kick in and work overtime to get us out of that situation in one piece. It could be something that happens out in the wild, or perhaps right in your own home. Or could it be just help to survive a rather awkward situation? Today's list covers a wide range of situations and advice to help you survive them. Here are survival tips you need to know.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm American Eye, and I'm going to be your guest host right here on Titanic. Enjoy the video.
Number 27. Keep low. Fires are extremely scary, and the number one cause of a person not surviving a house fire is smoke inhalation. The most important survival tip if you're caught in a household fire is to keep as low to the ground as possible. Number 26. It does get better. When you're laid off of a job, it can be soul-destroying, and there are many times you wonder how on earth you're going to survive this. According to a happiness study from the University of Alberta, the best thing to do initially is to start getting physical. And we don't mean with your ex-boss, but rather start exercising. You'll at least feel better about yourself and be in a better state of mind when searching for a new job. Number 25. Survival of the fittest. How do you survive if you know an asteroid is about to plummet into Earth? Easy, run to the hills. Most of the planet is covered by water, so the chances of an asteroid landing in the water are pretty high. What you'll need to worry about from then on is a tsunami that is sure to follow. That's why, in order to survive, you need to reach higher ground pronto. Number 24. Underwear slingshot. This one is really thinking outside the box, but if you're lost in the wild and need to try your luck at getting some small game to eat, use your elastic in your underpants to create a slingshot. If you actually get this right, please let us know. Number 23. Stay warm. Okay, you're staying out in the wild, and hopefully you manage to get your game, and at least you can eat. But another problem, though, you may encounter is trying to stay warm. Before you head out into the wilderness, wear synthetic or wool clothing and steer away from moisture-trapping fabrics like cotton. Cold can cause fatal hypothermia, so create your heat yourself by stuffing dry leaves in your clothes, and if at all possible, try avoid getting wet. Number 22. Do not remove. If you are ever in the very unfortunate situation where you find yourself having been stabbed by a knife, do not attempt to remove it yourself. Leave the knife in place and head straight to the ER, as the knife is more than likely holding back some blood vessels. Removing the knife could prove to be fatal. Number 21. The big freeze. Surviving an ice cream headache is something you need to educate yourself about, because you don't want to ruin your entire bowl of ice cream. Brain freeze takes place when the nerves in the roof of the mouth send a message to the brain that it's too cold. So the brain sends warm blood rushing to the head, causing the sharp and painful brain freeze. To avoid brain freeze, eat slower to give the nerves a chance to register and accommodate for the cold ice cream intake. Number 20. Rage against the machine. What would happen to humans if robots did take over the world? A doctor from Leeds University says your best bet is to confuse the machine so they're unable to locate you. And the best way to do that is to paint your hideout with loads of patterns and stripes, which will all totally confuse them. They'll start heading back to some other poor person who hasn't watched this YouTube video. Number 19. Drink up. Giving a presentation or a talk in front of a crowd of people can be very intimidating. And although you might be prepared, there might be an off chance that you forgot to say what you hope to say. To gather yourself without letting on that you forgot what you were talking about, simply take a drink of a little bit of water and buy yourself some time. No one will suspect a thing. Number 18. Keep the beat. If you find yourself administering CPR on someone, time yourself to the beat of staying alive. The time is just perfect at 103 beats per minute. Number 17. Own the sky. If you're not the world's best flyer and totally get freaked out by every little bump and dip you encounter at 35,000 feet, then here is some great advice to try and keep yourself a little bit calmer. Should a plane go down, passengers seated in the rear cabin behind the wings have a 69% chance of survival compared to only 49% in the first class. Passengers who kept their seatbelts on and assumed the brace position also had greater chance of survival should the plane go down. You can probably take a guess to those who don't wear the seatbelt. Try not to waste time by putting a mask on, as cabin pressure drops so suddenly that within 20 seconds flat it can knock you out unconscious. Secure your mask first before assisting others. Cabin staff are really not wasting your time giving you this life-saving information. Number 16. Need a ride? If you got enough cash for a pizza, but not enough for a ride home, this survival tip might just work for you. Walk to the nearest pizza delivery and order a pizza with your address as a destination, and then grab a ride home with the delivery guy. Obviously doesn't work if they're using mopeds or bikes, but if they have a car, you're in luck. Number 15. There's an elephant in the room. If for some peculiar reason you find yourself face to face with an elephant and he's getting ready to charge, face him head on and scream and yell at him. If you're lucky, you will intimidate him and he will run off, but you'll run out of luck trying to outrun an elephant. Number 14, 2 for the price of 1. Pregnancy sticks are great for, well, the obvious, detecting pregnancy, but they can also serve another very important purpose, and that's detecting testicular cancer. If you suspect you might have it, then you can take a pregnancy test and see if it comes back positive. If it does, make sure you see a doctor ASAP. Number 13, conversation filler. Meeting new people or being seated next to someone you don't know can be rather daunting and intimidating. Here's a survival tip that's going to make your life a little more bearable if you find yourself in this situation. Firstly, start with a compliment. It always makes the other person feel good about themselves and brings them out of their shell. Listen well and ask questions. The more the other person feels comfortable, the easier the conversation will flow. If it's not working, you can politely end off by saying, "I won't keep you," or "Please give my regards to someone you know." Number 12, the great escape. Here's another unfortunate position you might find yourself in, being buried alive. And if this ever happens to you, then here's the first thing you're gonna do. First and foremost, you're gonna do your best not to panic. Then you're gonna kick the coffin lid open and finally start putting the dirt into the coffin and crawling your way out. Thereafter, you're gonna head to the closest bar and order the biggest glass of wine you can imagine. Number 11, bad hair day. It's never a great moment when you're enjoying your meal and you find random hair in your food that you know doesn't belong to you. Before sending the food back, salt it heavily so when you replace your meal, you are guaranteed that they made the new meal from scratch. Number 10, do it yourself. If you accidentally cut yourself and you don't have much at home in terms of a medical kit, then making a dressing using sugar or honey should help you out. Number 9, warning signal. This is some practical advice if you're moving to new dorms or an apartment. If it's weak, don't even consider it, as you'll be probably very frustrated most of the time when you're home. It's just not worth it. Number 8, and it's stuck. If you've ever had a song stuck in your head, you'll know how frustrating it can be. Did you know that those songs are called earworms? They wiggle into your ears and they don't leave in a hurry. You can either go the whole hog and listen to the entire song through at full volume, kind of like embracing your fear head on. This should make the earworm go away when the song does. Or you can try playing a totally different song at full volume right through, and that should also do the trick too. There's also no guarantee that once the song gets stuck in your head, it's gonna leave though. Number 7, just keep swimming. It's not your lucky day if you're treating water in the Amazon River and a shoal of piranhas are surrounding you. If you have no open wounds, you might be just fine, but if you have a cut of some sort, swim fast as you can. Some experts say though that piranhas are not fast eaters, so either way, you should be okay. Number 6, tree bark. Another lost in the woods scenario, except this time you're a vegan, so what on earth do you eat to survive? How about 3-course meals of tree bark? Go ahead and peel back the outer layer of the bark and feast on those nutritious white inner layers called the cambium. Look, it might not be delicious, but it will fill the gap. Number 5, no time for sorries. If you've been involved into an accident, never say you're sorry to the other driver if it wasn't your fault. It's easy to say when you're in shock, but by saying so is an admission of fault and could potentially be used against you in the court of law. Number 4, straight from the boys in blue. Traffic officials in the US went on to Reddit and shared some of their survival tips in avoiding hefty speeding fines. And this is what they had to say. Keep your hands on the wheel at all times. One cop says that it shows that you are concerned about the safety of the officer. Again, don't apologize for speeding, as by doing so, the officer has to legally write you a ticket. Just politely ask if you could receive a warning, and you might be lucky. Number 3, run for your life. If you've ever been surrounded by seagulls, for example, you know how vicious and scary they can become, and being chased by angry birds is no exception. The advice given by experts is to use your shirt as a shield, and if that doesn't work, keep your head down and your eyes covered. If you have food, throw it as far away from your body as possible. Failing all that, flap your arms like a crazy person and run around for cover. It might be enough to deter them. Number 2, keep it private. When you're online booking a flight, make sure your browser is on private to prevent the airlines tracking your cookies and charging you more for the same flight. Number 1, Roller Coaster Survival 101. Roller coasters can make the bravest of the brave cower in fear, and we're going to share some survival tips for you. Where you sit has a lot to do with how the ride feels. Of course, front seats get the freakiest views, but right at the back provides the greatest force. So if none of those appeal to you, grab a middle seat. Don't eat just before getting on, and when you do, eat a light meal and wait 90 minutes before going on the ride. You'll feel less nauseous and a lot more stable when the ride is over. Have you got any survival tips to share with us? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe to our channel for more daily videos. Thanks for watching.
Wow, now that was a great video. You know where else to find some great videos? Right here on my channel, American Eye. I'll see you there.